What's up guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I produced Mortgage by LLC Flame and 350, and I'm going to be showing you like how I mixed it and just some backstory and just how it was made in general. The first thing I did on this beat was I was feeling like, oh, I want to do a Travis Scott type, like something darker, because a lot of our songs are like really bright and just like happy.
Hands up, I just wanna ball up forever.
And I was like, alright, let's try something else. So I looked up Travis Scott loop kit on YouTube. That's a tip right there. Make sure you should do that too. And I landed on this one that I liked a lot. It was in D sharp minor, but I changed the key later. So this is the original sample. Okay, so after I had that, I pitched it up one semitone, and then with channel EQ, stock EQ, I took out the lows, boosted the highs a little bit, and I cut out some of the highs, because since I pitched it up, I didn't want it to be all like sizzly and like eh. So after that I added some echo, 1/4 and 1/8, and a little bit more reverb, like literally like 6%. So it was like, that's all I changed. The rest of it is just pretty stock, and I put it on plate reverb. After adding those plugins, this is how it sounded. So most people, I assume, would think that, oh, I just made the beat and then like I recorded some vocals on it after, but no, that's not what happened.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
What actually happened was I took this sample and I just like looped it over like a bunch of times, and I freestyled a hook to it. So I came up like line per line, then I actually put in drums and like did everything to it. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna just show you how I did the drums before, and then I'll go into the vocals. So I started off with the hi-hat pattern. It stays like that throughout pretty much, with just some cuts. All I did to the hi-hats was I cut out some of the lows with this Fat Filter EQ. After that, I did the snare and clap, and they're layered on top of each other, and they're pretty much the same, except the snare hits one more time on the last bar of the 4 bars. So it goes like this. I believe I used the snare 88. No idea where I got it. It was probably just luck, just random, like, oh, this sounds cool. But yeah, after that I went on and I added the 808 next, not the kick, and it's a super basic pattern, as you can see. And the first half it's more simple, and then the second half it gets a little bit more complicated, but still. And then I layered the kick on top of that, and the kick is also pretty simple, just hits on certain sections. So a lot of people are always asking me like, oh, what kick, my kicks and 808s, they don't really go together. Like, this is something that I also struggled with for a long time, and I just found that there's certain combinations, like just watching YouTube tutorials, you can like figure them out, but like the spins with the Port of Miami kick, that blends really well. And then there are many other combinations for other 808s, but yeah, if you have questions you can let me know, but this works really well. So yeah, then I just added a triangle at the beginning of every 4 bars, and then the open hat. So with all of those drums together, it sounds like this. See, you can take simple drums, just add some cool extra sounds like the triangle and the open hats and stuff, and it can sound really full. So for arranging, I took the same loop that we originally had, I duplicated it, and I added halftime to it on the first 8 bars, And throughout, like, yeah, as you can see, like I'll leave the screen like this for a little bit so you can just see how it was arranged. But on the intro, I also added this sub bass that was so low that I had to cut out some of the lows, because like when I played it in the speakers, it was like it would destroy your speakers because the notes were so low, and it just, yeah, it didn't work. And I also added this one sound effect, chop. It's like a riser type of thingy, bubbly sounding. And I added one transition effect later on the verse. Just little small extra things you can add, and that was literally it. Like, it was such a simple beat. So here's how it sounds like from the intro to like the hook. So like I said, I didn't have the drums in like when I recorded the hook, but after the hook was done, I went and I started the verse. And if some of you guys saw our promo video on Instagram, I actually did the verse originally, the first verse, but it didn't sound good. And then I showed it to my brother Samuel, and he was like, nah, this ain't it. Let me hop on and then it'll be good. So that's literally what happened. He actually did hop on, and it sounded like 10 times better. And I actually sent this to other people, and they're like, yeah, just get off and like, yeah, have Samuel get on and it'll be better. So here, I'm gonna break down the vocals really quickly, because I mean, it's just basic mixing, like auto-tune. Actually, for this type of song, it was inspired by Vic Sage's song Foreign. Yeah. And basically, you don't need to sing that well for this, but you need to put a lot of auto-tune, but you don't want to be like completely singing like normally, like a melodic song, like a Juice WRLD song. Like, it needs to be kind of rap dash singing, like it's in between, and you like crank the auto-tune. Like, we don't usually have this much auto-tune, like retune 2, like that can be really robotic. We usually have it at like 7 or 8, but for this type of song, that really worked. So here's like just the raw vocals with auto-tune.
Ay, yeah. So I feel it raining, it's pouring. I shoot my shot and I'm scoring. I got on my grind to afford it. Till one day I'm paying the mortgage.
So as you can see, there's a lot of sounds, and like it's just muddy, and we literally record like right here in our room. It's carpet. It's obviously not the best, but we use what we got. So cut out some of the lows. I cut out 80. This also depends on your microphone. This is a big one. Like, your mixing might not work on like your microphone. Like, it might be different. So I just cut out some of the lows and some of like the low mids. Nothing really fancy, and it sounds like this.
Ay, yeah. So I feel it raining, it's pouring. I shoot my shot and I'm scoring. I got on my grind to afford it. Till one day I'm paying the mortgage.
Now it sounds like way more clear, and you can understand it better. Then I added RVox, just some preset. I'm not going to go over it, just gentle compression. And I added the stock plugin from Logic. It's the Edge edition, I guess. You can just copy my preset on there. I added the channel EQ, boosting the highs like crazy. So like to the point where it's like, it's going to sound weird. Like, it's going to sound sizzly and just meh. And you kind of want it to sound like that because it makes it crispier after you add the de-esser. So I also added OTT, which does the same thing, just boosting the highs, making it more sounding. And then I added the fat filter compressor, which you can just look at my settings, but I'm pretty sure it's just this preset, this de-essing stereo backing vocal, I guess. The last few things I did was I added this CLA2A. A lot of it mostly just to make it louder, because I like how the gain sounds on it. But you can also use the R compressor, or also if you don't have these plugins, like just try to translate it to your stock plugins. Like it won't sound as good, but it can sound like pretty close. I used to use stock plugins. So this is where, yeah, you add the de-esser, because as you heard, it was kind of like sizzly and like really high-ish sounding. but once you add the de-esser, it'll sound like much more clean. Another trick is use this stock plugin from Logic. It's called a flanger. I don't know how to pronunciate it. You can look at my preset. And yeah, I just leave the mix around like 10 to 15%. And this is kind of like, because I don't double my vocals, because I know some people, they do like 3 tracks and they have like one panning to the left, one to the right, but I don't do any of that. I just put the flangers thingy and it kind of does that doubling effect, and it just, yeah, it sounds cool. Then I added a little tiny bit of delay, which I don't know if you have to do that, because I also do delay later on, but yeah, this is how it sounds like without reverb and delay, with just these this mixing till now.
Ay, ay, yeah. So I feel the rain and it's pouring. I shoot my shot and I'm scoring.
Dope. Now, for the reverb and delay, make sure, this is super important, make sure you open it up on a bus. If you don't know how to do that, you're gonna like click down here if you have no buses, and then you'll go to bus and then just pick any of these. The number does not matter. I mean, you might want to start from like one that doesn't have any of these things, because then you don't have to get rid of any plugins. So just get an empty bus and then select it. Once you're on the bus, make sure you turn it on and you bring this little knob up, maybe like -10 or so. It doesn't really matter for now. And you can do your reverb in here. There's a lot that comes into reverb that I've learned until now, but basically you want to do 60,000 divided by the BPM divided by 2 to get your decay time. And a little trick is, if your BPM is 150, I can just leave it as it is, because Vintage Verb automatically opens up at 4 seconds and the 20 ms pre-delay, so it's perfectly set. But the calculation is 60,000 divided by the BPM of the song divided by 2, and that gives you your perfect decay time. Because if you have a random decay time, then it's off with the song's BPM, and yeah, it doesn't sound as good. So after that, I just went through these presets. Like, I literally went through all of them and saw which one sounded the best. And if you don't remember, I used this exact same smooth plate on the sample originally, so this one actually sounded the best on the vocals too. Smooth plate. Don't need to touch any of this because we like do the EQ after that. So take a look at that. You can also do that. Remember, like, if you only have stock plugins, just try to emulate it. Then I added the stock channel EQ. I probably should have used the fat filter one, but it's all good. I usually only cut out 500, like up to 500 hertz, but for this song, I guess it needed to be a little bit more. The next thing I did was I added delay, which unfortunately I was using the trial version, so I can't even like show you it anymore because it's disabled. But I used like I don't remember if it was a 1/8 or 1/4 delay, and then I just cut out I did pretty much the same thing as on the reverb. And then the next thing I did was I added parallel compression, which is basically you're compressing the highs like crazy. You're compressing the whole vocal, like you want the threshold really low. And I just used the parallel compression. I used the parallel compression preset and just left that at that, and I took out some of the lows to make it sound better. So, and that was it. Like, if you want vocals to sound like ours, just do something like that, okay? And then I just pretty much copied and pasted that same exact thing, like Command D to duplicate the track, and I did that for like all the vocals. Oh yeah, another thing, like originally I was gonna actually have the first half be that normal one that you guys heard, and then the second half I was gonna have it go up like this, but it didn't sound good and it sounded too melodic and it just didn't fit.
Yeah, hey, so I feel the rain and it's pouring. I shoot my shot and I'm scoring.
As you can see, it doesn't sound as good, but I was like, hold up, I can just use that as like a harmony, so I left that in the back, and it actually sounded pretty cool in the end. Then after that, we got to 350's part. He just sent like straight, like I guess not one take, but he 350 also did freestyle his part, but it was he didn't do any ad-libs or anything, like it was just straight. So all I did to his was like I left it normal. It's the same mixing too, just no auto-tune, because he also sent them tuned, pre-tuned.
Feel like I'm drowning, I should've jumped in the deep. Up in the cloud, I've been avoiding the green.
So what I did was I cut out the yas, because he did that Johnny I seen Johnny in the deep, yeah, and then I took out that yeah from there and I added like some crazy like echo on it, so they sounded like this. Just the stock, put 9% on the 1/4, and I think I added a little bit more on this one, 15 and 14%, and it was at 8th note. So just like some extra echo to make it more interesting, which I also added some pauses on the beat, so it ended up sounding cool. But yeah, the song is available everywhere, so make sure you keep streaming it. It's going crazy, and appreciate you if you watch this till the end. I'm gonna try to do more tutorials. If you liked it, like, make sure you go like and like subscribe and everything. Like, thank you. Till next time.